Hello everyone, welcome back to another weather forecast video. I know it's been a long time, but I am back, and we have the possibility for severe weather today in the Texas and Louisiana area, for the possibility of several tornadoes, including strong, potentially EF2 plus tornadoes. We will have the possibility for also damaging wind gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour and large hail of 1 to 1 3/4 inches in diameter. In my personal opinion, I believe the roughest spot will obviously be in the enhanced risk, but I believe it'll probably be right along the border between Louisiana and Texas. That's where we're going to have the possibility for tornadoes, wind, and hail. So in this yellow shaded area, we have a 10% hatched risk for tornadoes, meaning there's a 10% likelihood for tornadoes within 25 miles of any given point. And that dashed line is a hatched area, meaning we have the possibility for EF2 to EF5 tornadoes. Our wind, we have a large area under a risk for wind today. We have a 5% area for damaging winds, and then we have a large 15% area for damaging winds. So we could see some slight widespread winds today in the areas like Texas and Louisiana. And then we have a hail risk more in the Texas area for a 15% risk of hail. So we're not looking at too large of hail or too damaging of wind gusts today, but we do have the possibility for some more widespread wind and hail today as those lines kind of bow out and spread across this whole area. And then, as I was saying before, our strongest tornado threat will probably be right along the border here of Texas and Louisiana. And if we bring it over here to the HRRR, we can get an idea of what these storms are going to be looking like later today on a simulated radar. And if we start here, we can see that we have a more discrete environment here with cells beginning to fire up all over the place here in southern and eastern Texas. And if we drag that out, we can see these cells really start to ramp up, and that's where any of these discrete cells have the possibility of rotating and producing stuff like hail or even the possibility for a strong tornado or two. And as we go later into the day, those cells will become less discrete and will become more of a linear mode where the storms phase together into one line. And that's where the damaging wind threat in the Louisiana and southern Arkansas area will begin to pick up as those storms sweep across. And by the time they pass the Mississippi River, they will have already begin to have calmed down a bit. So we can see our hail threat and tornado threat will be when these cells become more discrete, especially in areas around the Houston area. And then as they cross over the border, that's when they turn more into a linear mode where damaging winds will be more of the main threat with the possibility for a few QLCS tornadoes, which means we may have an embedded tornado or two within this line across the Louisiana area, so you will want to be on the lookout for that. But our greatest tornado threat will be in the mid-afternoon as those storms stay a little more discrete or semi-discrete away from each other and try and rotate to produce the possibility for tornadoes or even the possibility for more large hail. And if we bring it over here to the jet stream, we can get an idea of what will be the main driving factor behind the multiple days of possible storms and the possibility for a strong tornadoes today. So we see here that we have a little divot in the jet stream all the way down here in Texas, and this is actually what's going to cause the possibility for severe weather today. You can see as we move throughout the day, what it's going to do is it's going to drag up moisture from the Gulf and interact it with that cold air that's within this little bubble here. And this tries to take a little bit more of a negative tilt, meaning it's going to drag up more moisture, and then it's all going to interact, and then we have some shear to work with for the possibility for tornadoes today, and it's dragging up a lot of moisture. So that will be our main cause for storms today, our initiation. And then as we drag it into the Saturday area, we can see we have yet another dip in the jet stream, and this one's actually more negatively tilted, so we do have a slight risk in place for day 3 Saturday already over here in the Dixie Alley region, and we'll go over that more in depth in a future forecast video, but we will have the possibility for severe weather on Saturday as we have another negative dip in the jet stream here that will lead to the possibility for more severe weather as the time comes. And with all those dips in the jet stream, we can come over here and look at our height anomaly, which will give us an idea of where our cold and warm air masses will be. And we can see here we are definitely a little warmer for most of the U.S. here, especially along the East Coast and Midwest area, as we have a high pressure set up over top of us. So we will have warmer than average temperatures over here in the Midwest and East Coast. But if we drag this out, we can see that we have a more cooler massive air settle across almost the entirety of the U.S. going into middle of next week, bringing a little cooler temperatures, and then we can see that really amplify as it moves down into the southern area, like places like the Carolinas, Virginias, and Florida area, going into Friday of next week, bringing the possibility for much below average temperatures over here in the south, and then we'll have a warmer ridge building up here in the west. And if we drag this out, now we're getting pretty far out, so we're not too certain on this, but we could see the possibility for a major Arctic blast coming through the areas here, especially in areas like the plains in the Midwest, dipping all the way down to the south here. So, towards the end of the model run here, we're looking for the possibility of a large Arctic blast taking over most of the U.S., bringing much below average temperatures going into the middle of January. So we could see some snow systems and some cold weather come along with that, but that is far out, so we will still have to be on the lookout for that. So overall, today we are watching for the possibility of strong tornadoes and the possibility for some damaging wind gusts and hail today in the Houston region, in eastern Texas and western Louisiana. So make sure you're on the lookout today. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. I may be live later today if my schedule allows it. And everyone stay safe out there. Make sure you have plans in case you get a warning in your area. Have multiple ways to receive warnings. And have a good rest of your day. Thank you for joining my forecast. I'll see you next time.